Hello fans, here's today's update. The Detroit Lions' final 53-man roster for the season opener has been set, and the franchise appears to be among the strongest in the NFL in terms of depth and talent. But one detail stands out. The team kept only two quarterbacks on the roster, Jared Goff as the established starter and Kyle Allen, who earned the backup spot after a strong preseason. This move left out Hendon Hooker, who had been a developmental project for the team, but never managed to establish himself in Detroit due to injuries and inconsistent performances. Hooker was eventually moved to the Carolina Panthers practice squad in his home state, where he will have another opportunity to find space. The absence of a third quarterback in the official lineup, something that has become almost standard since the NFL instituted the emergency QB rule in 2023, is one of the most intriguing aspects of the Lions' strategy for the season. Head coach Dan Campbell was recently asked about the team's plans regarding this roster hole. The response made it clear that the team isn't interested in simply adding any young player for development. Campbell emphasized that the priority is finding someone who can step on the field if needed and run the offense with confidence. In the coach's words, it's about having a player capable of processing information quickly, organizing the team on the field, and making smart decisions with the ball in his hands. This indicates that an undrafted free agent is unlikely to be considered, as the coaching staff is looking for experience rather than a raw name to invest in for the long term. The logic is simple. In an emergency situation, the Lions don't want a developing player, but rather someone who knows how to keep the offensive gears running. When it comes to available names, Campbell tends to look for someone familiar or with a history with the franchise. Among the options are passers like Jeff Driscoll, Jake Fromm, and Tim Boyle, all of whom have already played for the Lions and know the team's offensive system to varying degrees. Fromm, in fact, was on the roster until 2024, which could make him a more natural alternative if the Lions decide to bring someone in quickly. Another interesting name is John Wolford, who was Jared Goff's backup in Los Angeles during his time with the Rams, which would give the team a quarterback with a history of chemistry with the current starter. In addition, players like Desmond Ridder and C.J. Beathard emerge as external possibilities, both with starting experience at different points in their careers, which fits Campbell's desired profile. Still, there's one detail that could significantly influence this decision: roster space. Currently, the Lions' 53-man roster is built to prioritize depth at other positions, which reduces the chances of keeping three quarterbacks on the main roster from the start of the season. Many teams across the league are moving in the opposite direction, carrying 3 or even 4 passers, which could create trade opportunities if injuries occur on other rosters. In this scenario, Detroit could pursue a strategic trade rather than relying on a free agent available on the market. For now, the team is sticking with Goff and Allen, but Dan Campbell's message is clear. If the Lions add a third quarterback, it will be someone reliable, experienced, and ready to take the field without compromising the high standards the team has set for 2025. Lions family, now I want to hear from you. What do you think of Dan Campbell's strategy of keeping only 2 quarterbacks on the roster? Do you think the Lions should go with a reliable veteran or risk developing a youngster on the practice squad? Leave your opinion here in the comments, because this discussion is essential to understanding the team's potential direction. Also, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell, because here you won't miss any behind-the-scenes news, rumors, or updates about our Detroit Lions. Let's stay together until the end of the season. Stay until the end, because we still have a big update you can't miss. The Detroit Lions once again made headlines in the NFL with a decision that surprised many: releasing tackle Dan Skipper. His departure leaves the offensive line even more vulnerable, especially since the team doesn't have many reliable depth options at the position. Currently, Taylor Decker's immediate backup is Giovanni Manu, a rookie who has shown improvement but has yet to be tested in real pressure situations. Decker, meanwhile, is coming off an injury and preseason surgery, making the scenario even riskier. Therefore, it didn't take long for rumors of a possible Lions move to gain momentum, and the name emerging as a top target is Houston Texans tackle Cam Robinson, who is reportedly available for trade. Skipper's release may have been financially or strategically motivated to free up roster space, but it made it clear that Detroit needs to strengthen the backup left tackle position if it wants to avoid serious problems during the season. Confidence in Manu and Jamarco Jones is still lacking, and relying solely on them as an immediate option to replace Decker seems like an unnecessary risk. It is in this context that Cam Robinson appears to be an interesting opportunity. The player has already demonstrated his quality as a pass protector, finishing the 2024 season with a 70.4 PFF grade in this area. Despite dealing with some lower body injuries, he remains a solid asset with the experience and consistency to contribute immediately in Detroit. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Houston Texans would be open to trading Robinson, particularly because rookie Ariante Ursary has been impressing in training and the preseason, making the veteran more expendable within the roster. This scenario opens up room for the Lions to seize a rare market opportunity, especially since the price tag doesn't appear to be prohibitive. According to Mike Payton of A to Z Sports, a sixth-round pick in the 2026 draft could be enough to seal the deal, something considered fair within league standards for depth players. It's worth noting that, despite this possibility, the Lions didn't make any signings or trades before the deadline to finalize the 53-man roster, demonstrating a certain caution in this process. On defense, some moves were expected, but on the offensive line, an addition like Robinson could be just the solution needed. At the same time, Manu and Jones showed good signs in training camp and the preseason, which could lead the coaching staff to consider not making any changes to the roster at this time and give these players time to establish themselves as reliable backups. However, in a league so plagued by injuries and unforeseen circumstances, it's always important to ensure depth at critical positions. The Lions know that protecting Jared Goff will be crucial to maintaining their high offensive level in 2025, and betting on Cam Robinson could be the kind of smart move that strengthens the roster without compromising the franchise's future plans. The question now is whether Brad Holmes and company will actually pull the trigger, or whether they'll bet on the growth of the young tackles they already have at their disposal. So everyone, I want to hear your opinion. Should the Detroit Lions go after Cam Robinson to bolster the offensive line? Or is it worth relying on Giovanni Manu and Jamarco Jones as immediate backups to Taylor Decker? In my view, securing an experienced name like Robinson would be a smart move, because we know that protecting Jared Goff will be crucial to keeping the offense running at a high level throughout the season. But I'd really like to hear your thoughts. Is it worth taking a risk with the young guys, or is it better to save time and add reliable depth right away? Leave your opinion in the comments, and of course, like the video, because it really helps the channel grow. Until the next update.